hell is up with the Bitcoin pops?
Boop. Get that there. A new season. But same music, because this music's pretty cool. For the theme of what we're doing. Copy pasta.
Pasta.
Copy pasta. Please. There we go. Right. Hello, everyone. I'm AD Springer, also known as Corbinian. This is the Electric Metropolis video game tour, and we are playing our first episode of the new season of Halanak Station, a Star Trek Adventures tale. And we have 2 new characters entering the fray, and a new state of affairs to acclimate ourselves to. It is a 1-threat game, and would you like me to read the mission updates there, Admiral, or would you like to formulate one from that?
I think you're good.
Admiral Thralic.
Stardate.
Admiral. Admiral.
Stardate 60691.5. In a monumental development, She Thralic has been promoted to the prestigious rank of Rear Admiral, entrusted with the oversight of the Halanak Agreement and Starfleet's mission to uphold its provisions. Central to the agreement's spirit of technological and scientific advancement for both the United Federation of Planets and the Free Information Sphere is the ambitious endeavor to develop and construct a Federation FIS QSD cruiser at Halanak Station. This joint effort will harness the collective expertise and resources of both the Federation and the FIS, culminating in the creation of a new class of starship soon to be crewed jointly by Starfleet and the FIDF. The challenges ahead are formidable: securing dry dock, acquiring specialized materials and resources, recruiting and safely transporting skilled shipwrights, and maintaining the confidence of the Federation in the infosphere. Success in this endeavor promises to revolutionize galactic travel, bridging vast distances and bringing the galaxy closer together than ever before. Rear Admiral Thralic is tasked with assembling an Admiralty staff to coordinate this monumental effort and ensure its success. However, her responsibilities extend beyond the immediate goal of constructing the new starship class. She must also plan for the future, laying the groundwork for the establishment of a Halanak fleet. This Halanak fleet will not only solidify Starfleet's presence in the Shackleton region alongside Project Enduring Friendship and the Stavanger missions, but also pave the way for the Free Information Sphere to join the Federation, guiding them safely into the exploration of nearby stars. The missions ahead will be demanding and far-reaching. Rear Admiral Thralic must articulate her operational objectives and initiate the first steps toward defining new mission parameters for Halanak Station, setting the stage for a new era of exploration and cooperation between the Federation and the Free Information Sphere. And we go to our favorite star system in the whole galaxy. Well, mine at least, because I run there. Bentar. Certain people aren't there. Boop.
Why am I there twice?
Because you are a time traveler.
Flash plan, let's go.
This is now sliders.
I mean, that's all correct, even, so... Oh,
Wait, the flash plan? That's not correct.
Heck yeah, sliders.
time traveler bit.
Oh, okay, that is correct, yes. But you said that's all correct, and I was like, all?
All correct.
Yes, all. You heard me.
When did the cloning happen?
Someone drank the truth serum, and it's all correct. All right.
So, we...
Secret sixth running clone.
No.
And I rage quit.
This friggin' tool. So, in a conference room on Halanak Station, it has been about a month, about 30 days since the last mission. A lot of staff have been changing around. People are finding new careers, and there's shuffling in the cabinet, much activity in the information assembly. And into the chamber, of course, is Rear Admiral Thralic. Then there's, of course, Centurion Ryloff, who is, I believe you are primarily the fleet liaison to the Romulans at this point.
Yes.
Lieutenant Junior Grade Ven, who is still the science officer of the station, but is also the preeminent expert on the inheritor technology, by virtue of being descendant of one. But
I think you'll find that now he is the science officer of the station, or formerly he was not.
And Kovic, the constable and harmonizer of Halanak Station, but you did take the other role, yes? Just to confirm before
Yes.
I say something, yeah. So, who also, in the course of his installation in the events that have come to pass, has become somewhat of if not formally inducted, an informal intelligence officer, who has his ears stretching across the free information sphere and throughout the Shackleton. You may not know it, but he knows someone who knows something.
I know a guy.
Stepping into the room as well is a human, I believe. Please describe the character walking in.
Hello. Captain Carpenter is, we'll say, I don't know, commander, so probably mid to late 30s. Average height, brown hair. Has been in the command department for her entire career. And I'm going to assume or I'm going to say now, has been an adjutant for quite a while now. And as Thralic is a new junior admiral, Starfleet Command thought it prudent to assign a adjutant who knew what they were doing in order to help her ease in this transition. And she's probably been here for, I don't know, some time now, or a short time now.
Like the last week or two, yeah.
Yeah.
You probably came with the
Yeah.
first shipment of new Admiralty staff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she is, you would know from reputation, very organized, very diligent, and some of the more fun officers in the fleet might call her a buzzkill, but she wouldn't. So yeah.
Right?
And another human steps in, but not in a militant uniform of any kind, but is in fact a human. Who is this fine bloke walking in?
Where are we again?
Oh, you're in a conference room on Halanak Station. This is
Okay.
Patch and a soul patch, really?
Oh, you did you miss the earring? I got all three going. I said swashbuckler, didn't I?
All right, D'Artagnan.
I can't judge you for an earring. I have an earring too.
Galia has reached this far into the future, it seems.
Chrysia is a rather tall man with blonde hair, and as mentioned, a healthy mustache and goatee. Has a suit adorned with gold and bejeweled fittings, and also walks around with a disruptor and a blade. And will come in and approach Kovic. In a slight sign of respect, always seeking to keep the legal elements of Halanak in good graces, we'll say, how goes it, Harmonizer?
Does Kovic know this guy?
He has been a trader here for a while.
Tell me how you pronounce the name.
The nickname is just Koisya.
Quisha. What's the name?
You can see
Oh,
it
there
in
it is.
under Halanak Station. It's underneath you. You should be able to see both the new commander
it's-
and the new merchant.
Yeah.
Doisenkov Kuzma Dmitrievich.
Welcome back, Kusha. What do you hear?
GM, anything that would be interesting to a harmonizer, but not harm any of my clientele?
Give me a roll. Difficulty 2. Let's call it Insight Security.
Space station operations, or smuggling?
Smuggling, yeah.
Knew it.
I love when I accidentally overwrite my talents with values when copying them from the sheet, because then I know what I have.
Oh, yeah, it's really good.
Take a threat.
Certainly.
No, well, if I'm gonna be rolling like that, then no, I don't have answers.
You can think of nothing that's current or relevant to the harmonizer. You know
Well,
old news, like stuff from previous missions, but that stuff you know he knows.
Well, but since we're here, take.
Well, I'll say, I will respond. I'll say, I have an ear towards some shipments that might be coming in that you'd be interested in, but I'm pretty sure you've already got your nose on them. Not too many. Shipments of illegal mining equipment would get past you, I imagine.
Not the way the smugglers that come through here operate.
Amateurs, really.
Yeah, every single one of them.
I smile at that.
So since we're at the start of the scene, take a threat, and yeah, what's Kovic hearing here on Halanak Station? What kind of rumors have come to him, and information from well-informed?
There's a rumor that the Klingons are preparing for war against somebody. They're not but no one really knows who. So everyone's kind of gearing up in preparation for that. Everyone's kind of buying up extra wartime materials, food, wines that certain Klingon commanders like, that sort of thing, in the hopes of getting it cheap now and trying to sell it way more later.
Okay. Second question. Does this seem to have any connection with all the smuggling going into the Klingon Empire that we heard about over the past several months?
Yeah, that's how people are getting a better and better read on that. It's becoming a lot less theoretical, because the Klingons are almost always about to be at war with somebody every day. That's just how the Empire works, even under Martok. But this is becoming a larger scale operation seems a lot more likely.
Interesting. Okay.
The floor is yours, Admiral, I believe.
All right. So I guess what information do we have going into this meeting about, like, what's on the table?
Give me reason command difficulty 2. You can succeed at cost. I'll give you an answer, but I'll give a more complete answer if you hit this.
Gotcha. Do I have a focus? I think is better than reading off my 10 focuses.
Protocols.
All right. Trait of flag officer.
I'll say that's why you know the larger scope.
Okay.
That's also why you would succeed at cost, because you would know something.
Yeah. Decorated military family.
Not with this, no.
Gotcha. Then I don't believe I have anything else that would be helpful. I will buy a die with threat. All right.
So, at present, you do have the skeleton of an Admiralty staff is here, has been here for a bit because of the arrival. The adjutant, Commander Carpenter, did bring a lot of people with her. That's just to get you situated. You don't have... beyond the Da Vinci, you don't have any additional ships assigned to you, frankly, because there's a lot going on. You know that the first Stavanger was destroyed in a conflict recently. So now there's the talks of mobilizing commissioning a sovereign class as a Stavanger A. You know, there's the installation of a... Sorry, you were saying?
Do we know? So the Stavanger is recently lost. Was it lost with like all hands?
It's
No.
the details are in the logs, but a lot of people got up, but some people were killed.
Okay. All right. I gotta check with author about something.
Yeah,
'Cause-
I know what you're asking about.
Yep.
Yeah, you didn't.
Project Enduring Free. God damn it! Project Enduring Friendship is has elevated a Commodore due to the rather sudden acquisition of a large sum of scavenged Miranda classes that came into their possession away from the general market. And Starfleet basically, instead of pulling it all back and trying to sort through it all and reprocess them and refit them, they made it their problem. Deal with it out there. Figure out what you're going to do with it. If you were able to assemble ships, great. If not, well, let us know what you figure out. Because there's
Right.
bound to be at least one or two ships that are formed from the wreckage, or they might make some sort of junker ship. It's unclear, but
Yeah.
Starfleet's said, yeah, that's a you problem. There is rumbles in the Admiralty once you entered that perhaps Project Enduring Friendship would come under your command, but that's still being. They're not gonna lock that into Memory Alpha until they know that you have your situation figured out and the Commodore has their situation figured out, because you're both newly minted flag type officers, and it's with very different scopes of command.
Yeah.
So you may be relevant to each other, you might not be, even though you are both part of the Shackleton operations fleet. What else would you know? You know that you've gotten some materials from Starfleet for building the new ship that has not been named yet. It has like a designation number, like it has an NCC designation. Actually, it'd be an NX because it's the first of its class, so it's an NX whatever. But the name of it's unknown. You have the basic duratanium materials to build you would use to build any starship. But this thing needs very specific materials, and that's one thing that has to be hammered out and figured out. Because Starfleet will do what it can, but there's going to be a lot of stuff you just don't. That Starfleet either can't get to you quickly, or frankly, it'd be faster for you to source it out of the Shackleton and cheaper. Or maybe even from a security point of view, easier to deal with. Because with the Romulan Civil War going on, not a great time to be moving stuff through the corridor. And even moving stuff through Klingon space, they're kind of going through an internal, not a civil war, but there's a political tension going on. So Starfleet doesn't want you to draw as little attention as you can to your endeavor. I mean, locally, it's going to be a big deal. They can't help that. Raiders will talk about it, but there's no sense moving a massive convoy of materials beyond just duratanium, because that's just every station gets some for repairing ships, so it isn't weird for you to get some. Those are... lastly, there are some experts in shipwright. Of the shipwrights that you have that would build the new ship, Haifa being one of them, because she's the one who has the expertise and knowledge of QSD in a Starfleet configuration. But so that's one person. There's the FIS people. But then there's all the other things that need to be built into the ship, and that requires either people in the Alpha Quadrant, or you're going to have to start finding shipwrights from other places to fill in all those gaps. Or even if you're trying to give something special to the ship, you're going to need to find someone who has that special technology. So and if you do want to pull people from the Alpha Quadrant, you have to somehow get them to you without anyone else figuring it out or knowing that you're grabbing that person for that reason, because that officially no one is at war with you, but at the same time, intelligence agents don't care whether you're at war or not. And criminal syndicates definitely don't. And the obvious. Then, as an inheritor expert, whether or not how much you use the Aquarius and inheritor technology, they've trusted you to figure that out because you have access to the person who knows the most about it. So how much you lean on that is up to you. They advise making sure you understand the risk reward of it, but beyond that, this is your mission. And lastly,
Right now, Ben is exercising caution. He's only just now getting a vague handle on things.
Yep.
As for Kusia is as said, is a long-term, has been a merchant for a long time at Halanak. Since before the Halanak agreement, since before even Trailblazer got here, only since Starfleet encountered them.
No, since before the end of the Dominion War.
Out here to Halanak to FIS.
Yeah, as intentionally went into the unknown for opportunities. So just stumbled across this place.
So yeah, he's one of the. It's one of those moments of there's quite a few merchants who knew about the secret port that has a lot of high tech to trade with and stuff in the Shackleton, but they didn't share that with Starfleet. And here's a human who you learned, hey, he's a human. He was in the Starfleet Register once upon a time. You can look into his file if you want.
Imagining his last update was a while back, before Starfleet came to Halanak.
Yeah. So he's a preeminent commercial expert, if nothing else.
Yeah, no reason to clue in Starfleet that there's money to be made here, because they'll come down and take all your money away, because they hate money.
Sure. Steal everything from him.
Smoking. They hate smoking too.
Except their holograms.
Yeah, holograms love to smoke. Can't operate a transporter worth a damn, but they can smoke.
They can make the transporter smoke too.
This is my cation to bear.
No, Cations are cats, not bears.
You stole my joke. You stole my joke. I was trying to perform it, and I couldn't do it, and you stole it.
You stole her thunder. You're a thunder thief.
Oh, lightning thief. Different book.
Man, that.
But yeah, that is the full info dump. I can't put it any other way. The full info dump on what you know. If you want to get me to be more specific than that, you'll need to start spending threat for questions.
I think that is good on stuff to walk into this meeting with an agenda for.
Roger.
Right. So I think probably after everyone is at the table, for maybe a minute, Admiral Thralic enters the room, sits down at the head of the table. Hello, everyone. I have asked you here today to form a Admiralty Advisory Board. You each have expertise which will prove invaluable in the continuing growth and development of the Halanak Agreement and Starfleet and the Federation's presence here. Some of you may not know Commander Carpenter. He is my adjutant. He will be handling matters of day-to-day administration for Starfleet, as well as executing my orders throughout the Halanak Agreement space.
So, Commander Carpenter, you're going to be handling expense forms?
Yes, that would be one of my duties.
All right.
I am here to assist the Admiral in executing her duties, and My portfolio of duties will depend on what the Admiral and station needs.
Well, if you have the expense forms, I have the ability to provide many things that the station needs.
Wonderful.
Her eyes narrow at you for a moment, but she doesn't say anything.
Kovic rolls his eyes loudly and lights up a dope stick.
You hear a fan kind of whir to life above your head, Kovic, as the smoke that you're smoking gets sucked up into the environmental system. FS doesn't mind if you smoke, but they make sure the smoke only bothers you.
Yeah.
The carpenter is on the same side as you, so you see her lean forward past Thralic to look at you for a moment, and then lean back in. She doesn't want to make a scene for this either, but it's very, very unusual behavior.
I give her a wink before she leans back.
Oh my god.
Not like a salacious, flirty wink, but just kind of like a.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, still important to clarify.
Kusha will look
Did
over.
you know?
Is Kovic smoking a brand that I import, or is this a rival import? I need market research here.
That's an important question.
It's probably Klingon. I tend to buy them at Coors Coffee, so it probably comes from Arillis, or the Arillis Consortium.
All right, yeah, we're gonna have to have a talk. He's getting in on my tobacco business.
Not actually
If
tobacco.
it's not tobacco.
My space tobacco business.
Right, space tobacco.
But what if your family don't like bread? What if your family likes cigarettes? Best Simpsons episode ever.
Right.
Oh, being someone with contacts on Earth, I could get you that too.
I'm from Iosha. We have it. We reverse engineered The Simpsons.
That makes too much sense.
Admiral, I understand the role of everyone here at this table, but I hate to say this so openly and bluntly, but are you willing to take the security risk of having a private citizen here?
Kovic's pretty good at his job. I wouldn't worry.
I was not referring to Kovic.
And smugglers often pick up valuable intelligence.
I have to be less of a security risk than the Romulan. No offense.
The Romulan has served Starfleet for years now. You have not.
Lord knows I'm more comfortable with him carrying around a disruptor than you.
It's not my fault.
It kinda is.
No, it's not my fault. I'm not serving Starfleet here. It is my fault that
we get a camera shot, couple camera shots of Ven just looking back and forth, bewildered at this just interchange. Not sure how to interact.
Rylov's just looking
here
at Thralic.
Yeah.
He's not looked either side. He's like, "Yep, this is the conversation."
I think
No worries,
Thralic
Commander.
shoots him back a look and just shakes her head ever so slightly, what have I gotten myself into?
Kusha knows a lot of people in a lot of places that harmonizers or Starfleet officers or even Romulan Centurions would never either meet or who would never talk to us. So,
hey,
and
but
for
a
the
few
most
credits,
part,
I could get them to talk to you.
For the most part, they're relatively trustworthy.
As well put, Harmonizer, as well, Commander Mr. Kusia here has a much deeper experience with the Halanak area and the FIS than we do, as he discovered this particular port long before it was known to Starfleet. He's being
Hey, listen.
paid well for his discretion.
A lesser and necessary evil, I believe, is the human phrase.
I'm not evil.
Yeah,
Not to mention,
she
not to
just
mention his
takes in
docking fees make the station a lot of money.
takes in all of this information and says, "Very well."
There's a lot of things I do for this station that make a lot of money. All of them certainly filed with the harmonizer's office.
Garlic will kind of lean over to the carpenter and say, also, Starfleet feels that his knowledge of trade relationships might be beneficial considering our own interactions with the FIS commercial system have been not strained, but command feels some lower officers may have been taken advantage.
Yes, I too often struggle to understand the principles of capitalism. In that sense, I'm sure he would be an amazing help.
Yep.
Chancellor of Trade is thoroughly irritated by this person, but thankfully he's too high
Uh-huh.
up for
That's because
Kusia to
he's
care.
always on the losing side.
He's
If he
always
was
paying
better
way
at making
too much.
money, he would like me.
There may be individuals added to this board at a later date, but for now, this is our roster. We will be expecting the captain of the ship we're constructing to arrive sometime in the next few months, at which point they will be brought on board with this committee. However, until such time, we need to focus on the status of sourcing materials for the MX prototype, sourcing the necessary expertise for the construction, and keeping all of this as informationally contained as we can within the FIS. It's not saying much, but ship construction is something that warrants some degree of secrecy, even with a joint effort such as this.
Well, I mean, we can definitely put security around it, but sooner or later, when that ship starts filling up the dry dock, it's going to be harder and harder to hide it. I'd suggest hiding it in plain sight. I mean, how much different is this ship going to look on the exterior to other new Starfleet designs?
He
That
brings
remains
up
to be determined by the design committee, who I'll be meeting with later.
he brings up a very important point. We must consider the fact that, well, we will have immense difficulties in shipping out the specialized personnel needed to construct such a ship. And as such, we will need to rely on local contractors to handle aspects of construction. And, well, while I have full trust in the members of the FIS government we are aligned to, I cannot speak with certainty that all members of their civilian construction bureaus will be willing to maintain such tight lips. The more people we bring onto this project, the greater risk there is that someone speaks. And, well, it takes a lot of people to build a starship.
Well, if you build it out in the open, the market will have you orders for materials and personnel by end of business. And if it's
Well-
out there long enough, you'll start attracting offers from construction firms across the Shackleton. Only about 20% of which will be Romulan and Klingon front intelligence operations.
Well, and the fact of the matter is, when it comes to the FIS, is not our problem. They're partners, and they already have quantum slipstream technology. The people you're going to want to keep it the most secret from are your old friends, Klingons, Romulans. I'm blanking on the name of the the other tripartite polity,
Gastians.
the Triple Alliance or whatever the hell.
It's
Tripolity.
Federation. It's
Tripolity.
Federation.
Tripolity, yeah. And we know for a fact that both the Klingons and the Romulans have been, have and probably still have, some very large-scale and sophisticated intelligence operations in the nearby region. But again, it's not like the Federation and FIS made much of a secret about their joint operation for the Haifa Special.
No, I believe that the secrecy concern around this project has more to do with specifics rather than the fact of its pure existence. Correct me if I'm wrong there, GM.
Yeah, like you won't be able to hide something because this thing's gonna be anything scale 3 or higher is gonna attract eyes. But
Yeah.
knowing the insides of it is what, and knowing that it's the ship is gonna be a thing. So
Yeah.
Which to mention, knowing about its existence, and you don't want the Romans to know, but there is, hi, I'm here, and my job
Hell.
is to tell people things. So the
I
specifics
believe-
make sense.
Yeah.
I believe it is. I believe the idea that we should hide it in plain sight holds merit. As I understand it, the previous Haifa type ship was a pacifist civilian ship. It had no weapons on it. It was purely to transport civilians from place to place. Could we not?
Precisely.
Could we not simply
Personnel.
claim? Could we not simply claim that this new ship is a larger version of that we have merely upscaled the technology? We are creating, well, on Earth we would call it a ocean liner, something of that sort, say large interstellar transport. And well, if it doesn't have guns on it, I believe we would get, or if people believe it doesn't have guns on it, I believe we would get far lower attention.
Problem is, if it didn't have guns on it, Starfleet wouldn't build it. They'd give the contract to a civilian yard.
Exactly.
Your
Also-
involvement means there's weapons.
And also, even if you could make people believe that Starfleet was building this just for the sake of building this for scientific progression or whatever else, when you do end up releasing a vessel that is armed with phasers and torpedoes, everyone's going to be very disappointed, upset, angry, whatever other words you would want to use to describe that, for being lied to for the entire duration of construction.
Agreed. I don't wish to operate under the guise of a peace mission that undermines the Federation mission here, I believe, to some extent.
Besides, you'll find in the Shackleton, there's a lot more effective means of defense than phasers. And if you're building the ship out in the open, some of those people who know those things might want to come help you learn about them.
Well, and I think that's what we get down to the nitty-gritty. The fact that the Federation would be working to improve their own understanding use of quantum slipstream technology, which, to be fair, everyone knows you already have. The Da Vinci A is not unique in having the Federation quantum slipstream drive. It seems to me like some of the more important things to keep under your hat would be perhaps some specific modifications to allow easier operation within spaces like the Shackleton, for instance. And much as I am somewhat hesitant to admit it, Kushia does have a point. The people who live here have a lot more knowledge about, alloys and laminates and whatever else that helps you operate in this space better. So, but when it comes to importing the experts, I recommend that whenever possible, we get people in groups. So your experts gets kind of hidden among other specialists in various fields, and try to find experts that aren't only experts in X, but are experts in X, Y, and maybe even Z. So instead of importing certain specific people, that makes it super easy to figure out what they're up to. You need special.
Obfuscated.
Yeah,
Of course.
but speaking of importing people and supplies, the little birdies have told me that it looks like the Klingons may be about to kick up cranky in a rather significant way. No more details other than that smuggling of something into Klingon space from Federation space, which I spoke to you of last month, Centurion, is getting a little bit more specific and a little bit heavier, and the Klingons seem to be arming up for something a bit more than their usual, something a lot more than their usual. So, getting from, I can't even remember. Is Shackleton in Beta or Alpha?
Beta.
Beta. So, running that corridor, or even going through the Klingon Empire from Alpha to Beta, it may become more interesting than it currently is.
Great. I believe in terms of materials, we'll be looking to source almost exclusively from Shackleton. There may be some specialized materials which we will need to return to Federation space for, but in that event, it will most likely make sense to send either the Hyper prototype or the Da Vinci and bypass the corridor altogether.
Fair enough. And to be fair, I was actually thinking more about personnel than material.
Personnel,
like.
we may be able to bring on
has
board.
Lots of good people.
GM,
Yeah.
how did Admiral Thralick how did Admiral Thralick's staff and me get here? Did we use the Da Vinci with quantum slipstream, or did we come the manual way?
They probably could have sent this Da Vinci out to come get you. That would have been fly there, spend 12 hours letting everyone load up, move all their stuff on, and then QSD back.
Okay.
That would have been the
It's not
fast, because you probably stopped at Narinja Station and then get jumped the gap.
Mhm.
But to get to
Yeah, it's
Narendra,
about a
they'd have to go through the
3-day.
corridor, so
Yeah, the safest way would be through the corridor to get there, or they're all sourced from the Beta Quadrant staff.
The logistical bottleneck of not being able to ship things through the corridor is a long-term strategic problem the Federation must address. However, in the short term, I believe that the Da Vinci offers us the band-aid we need, as while it cannot carry full capacity, as it is not a freighter, and the quantum slipstream has immense cooldown, it can still carry a lot of what we need, assuming, it is not on a different mission.
And it's worth asking, do you want to invite the Klingons in on this? I mean, let's face it. More than likely, sooner or later, the Arilus Consortium is going to find out what's going on here, and word's going to get back to the Klingons before the ship is built. We can delay that more than likely, but probably ultimately can't prevent it. So, might not be the worst idea for Starfleet to get in touch with the Chancellor and invite them in directly.
Someone who can control the flow of that information on their side.
Great. It's not a matter of whether or not we can keep this secret, but about how open the secret is.
Right.
Something to control the information, I would agree with. Something to bring them in on the project, I would disagree with.
Yes,
Full capacity that I have.
informing them, because they will inevitably find out, and so informing them preemptively may soothe over concerns more so than having them stumble upon it. However, if the Klingons are truly actually gearing up towards conflict with another power, I do not believe that we can trust them bringing them on board with something like this.
I mean, they're your allies. So, however you want to play it's fine. I'm just putting it out there.
I'm simply objecting on the behalf of the state.
Noted.
As would be understandable.
And I mean, for all we know, the Klingons have some crazy engineer who could take quantum slipstream to an unforeseen level. I mean, I don't know.
They did,
Klingons
but they threw her out.
Yeah, probably
You
into
better
the
not
center
be
of the
alive.
sun. Klingons.
Which one of her?
True.
It's
Yes.
LaCour. LaCour's the engineer I'm talking about.
Not your little scavenger dude.
I hope you good too.
I'd like some specifics on recommended experts and sources of materials for our next meeting. We
I
have
am,
a. Go
I am a,
ahead.
s- I am a skilled bureaucrat and organizer. I can assemble a list, and I know the ins and outs of Starfleet's personnel list. I can assemble a list within the next 24 hours.
All right.
And
Mr. Kusia, I expect a similar angle on the civilian resources available to us.
oh, and don't forget the praying mantis guy, the chief engineer on the Da Vinci. He helped Haifa do the slipstream shuttle. He's something of an expert. Put him on your list.
I'll nod to Commander Carpenter.
She like Carpenter like looks at you and then looks
Build
at
the
the
hive!
Admiral and then look back and says, "I will consider him."
He has a whole focus in quantum slipstream technology.
Just crosses
So
out his
far
name
as-
multiple times on the pads just to be sure.
Build the hive and protect it.
So far as my involvement, I expect it to be rather limited to just knowing what's going on rather than providing personnel or resources.
I mean, seriously, if Talara wants to come on full time as a harmonizer, we happy to give her a job.
No. We do
Fine.
currently need what personnel we have. And my interests have been directed towards the area of Ven's expertise.
Speaking of, Lieutenant, do you have any updates on the inheritor situation on the planet below?
Yes. Well, I will admit the first couple of weeks was a lot of me taking care of paperwork and making sure that I was cleared to even enter the facility again.
Hmm.
Admiralty really wanted to make sure all the T's were crossed and the I's were dotted, considering the nature and scope of the technology that I'd be interacting with. And my nature as an inheritor, like he says it and he's just clear like this. There's some discomfort. Has complicated matters, but once I was finally cleared, I was able to spend a couple weeks, and well, I'm starting to get a general understanding of the workings of the technology in that place. I'll leave it at this. I don't know every single nook and cranny, and I'm only just beginning to scratch the surface, but I think as far as the Federation's knowledge of this technology goes, I'm currently the closest thing the Federation has to an expert on the subject. And I don't know if that's I don't know if that's a good thing, to be completely honest.
Any sign of your father's old buddies?
Not lately, but I have it on, well, their authority that I just have to think about it and they'll come, but
Yeah,
that's
try not to think about it.
right. Yes. That's uh that's a emergency parachute cord that I don't want to pull unless things are dire.
Agreed.
The continued entanglement of the FIS with unknown technology does constitute something of a crisis, which they will be navigating with the assistance of the Federation in this area. Their very technological basis is being challenged by this newly revealed information. Part of the project we are attempting here is to help disentangle the FIS's infrastructure long term from the inheritor technology until they can understand it fully.
Right.
Which to you, I can lend assistance without having personnel have to work on a ship they can't tell me about. And that is assuming that I can get permission from the FIS for such assistance to be given.
We shall see. For this much at least, we are clear in matters of the construction of the NX type itself. We will see how things develop. Commander Carpenter, if you could also reach out to Commodore Dan Rowe and offer the shipyards of Halanak for the reconstruction efforts with his new squadron. I understand that they are in some state of disrepair.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yes, the mothball flotilla.
Make it clear that we will have other ships in our dry docks, but we have capacity for at least 2 ships to be undergoing active repairs or reconstruction at the same time. I believe that's the math correctly.
That sounds about right.
How many Mirandas did they find again?
GM forgets that exact number. I was told it once and I forgot it.
Question mark?
I think it was like 8 or
it's,
so, yeah.
it's a lot.
That's why the Commodore thing is like, look, that's a you problem now.
Yeah, it's like, we can't take your entire squadron in to be worked on at the same time, but if you ship us a couple ships, we can get them back into shape.
Take a little of the load off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that is needed for consideration at this time, or anything I need to be asked, or to relay?
I don't believe so. Are there any questions about our course of action so far?
GM, has there been any word on rule roll?
That is a pending investigation.
Okay.
Though the only thing is that your current Romulan friend has been cleared of it. They don't think he did it.
Oh, here's I got a question. So I kind of just glossed over how the Admiralty is about things, you know, and that it was a whole rigmarole to get everything cleared away. But is there anything of like particular note about that process? Like, is there anything
like about the process, or about what you learned on the planet? 'Cause I did specify you had some time to be down there looking around at the Aquarius.
Actually, yeah, both of those.
Oh, I will. Those are. I'll give you 2 different rolls there. It's like 2 different problems. First off is for the Admiralty and Starfleet Security and such. I'll call for Reason, Command, or Security, difficulty 2.
Okay. Take threat.
Oops, wrong book. Take a threat eye. Oh, it's that book, not this book. No wonder
Focus. Oh, wonderful. I'm just gonna let that ride. That's interesting.
I...
And so it begins.
Dun, 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 dun.
You are in possession. You have been informed. What's your reputation? 5, 4?
It's like max. Yep.
5. So yeah, they're willing to. Normally, a junior officer of your level would be pulled into the fold of Starfleet Intelligence or the Starfleet Corps of Engineers, what have you. Like just put into the most highly classified up training program, because they're not right. Who's comfortable with a junior officer knowing this stuff? However, you have an extremely stellar record, and you have academic achievements behind you, so you know what you're talking about, and you've handled high threat situations before. So the Admiralty is giving you a lot more leeway than any other junior officer would be allowed to get on this. Hence why they don't mind you being on Thralek's Admiralty Advisory Board. It's like no, that's a good call. However,
anyone's going to be able to keep him in line and keep him in a good place, it's probably going to be Thralek.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the other thing too. You know Ryloff and Thralek both, so there's a certain level of like, look, we could put you under someone else, but honestly, you've handled it fine under them, so let's not. We don't need to rock the boat on this, especially when it comes to hypertech like this. Sometimes it's
it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Now the complication on this is that you have been warned by certain high-ranking Starfleet security officers
don't fuck it up.
Not just that. They would tell you that, but actually they won't even do that. Your reputation is high enough. They expect you to know that on your own. Yeah. You actually get I will say you were treated very much like another senior officer among them. Like they treated you very equally the whole time. But they still there's a protocol. There's a way to debrief somebody. You were warned that you must expect yourself to be a VIP. You are a high value target that any intelligence agency is going to want to get their hands on. So, don't go places by yourself, unarmed. Make sure people know where you're going, that sort of thing. Assume that you could be kidnapped almost at any moment.
Oh no.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
It's usually the thing they just tell admirals. Like, Thralek got that speech too, but that's because you're a flag officer. Every admiral's told that.
In which case, Ven will reach in. Oh, yeah. Thralek, Centurion. This isn't exactly something that I'm enthused to be giving you guys, but here, he hands across a couple of pads to each of you. This is my updated security risk assessment.
All right, we'll go over this later. I don't think it's pertinent for the.
Which will basically tell you everything Sham just told me about that. Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carpenter does like a Vulcan eyebrow raise moment, but she doesn't say anything because it seems a little too personal to comment on.
And the tech.
Reason science difficulty of 2.
Cool. My new focus in inheritor technology.
Yep. So you would have had time to look back on your notes and think about it.
Yep. Top of the class.
Difficulty 1. Yep.
Cool. I'll just roll this as is. I generated momentum.
Boop and boop. 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 Actually, I'll point out to you, you did buy a die last time. You could... Oh, no, that's when you spend determination, isn't it? I got it backwards. Sorry. Oops. I had a bookmark for exactly... Lay down.
And because it seems interesting for the purpose of this adventure, I am going to make myself the expert for this particular mission. So I do get a bonus momentum.
Just one?
Well, it's because I have access to the value. And when I use the focus on a task and succeed, I generate a bonus momentum.
Oh yeah, it's just one. Yeah. Cool. Right. Time to fire off some information. While I'm typing that out, I would suggest to Thralic you have your 3 directives you're about to hand out and choose which of your Admiralty focuses is active for this mission.
God.
Kovic on the way out will kind of pigeonhole Rylov and say, if you hear anything about rule you could pass along, I'd appreciate it. And if same goes for anything about what's being smuggled into Klingon space from the Federation.
I will see what I can find. Though I imagine tracking him will be harder for me than you.
I don't know. I figured your people are a lot closer to the Klingon border than we are out here.
Yeah.
But,
No. I don't know who controls that region of space off the top of my head.
in any event, just keep the ears open.
Will do.
Yeah, I guess is Ven's role here going to be something that affects the advisory group meeting? Or Ven, are you just doing this for information to report on later?
Information on what?
Never mind.
Yeah, this is just as far as I can tell, this is just sort of to see what I've determined about the tech in the past couple of weeks.
All right. But I think while you're doing that, I'll just thank you everyone for attending this meeting. I look forward to working with all of you going forward on this project. We have our next meeting scheduled for the beginning of the week, next week. I will see you all then.
Yes, Admiral.
Sounds good.
And then, she's going to stand up and probably be having a conversation with Carpenter. But it's technically this isn't a, Starfleet advisor group, so she can't say dismissed. But it's dismissed.
Gonna slouch his way down to Coors Coffee for a refill.
Yeah.
And to listen in and see what he can pick up.
Good hustle, good hustle.
Yeah, as people begin filing out, she'll just, speak to Thralic and say, I apologize for raising a question of that nature during a meeting. It was not appropriate and it will not happen again. I will only ask you this once and never again. Do you trust the 3 people in that room? All of them, only one of them is a member of Starfleet, and all 3 of them could have theoretical conflicts of interest or other causes for security concern. However, if you tell me now that you vet them completely and trust them completely, I will trust them completely.
Alex and Tenna do a weird motion that, unless you're familiar with Andorians, you probably don't parse. I would caution against trusting anyone completely. From my experience, it has gotten me this far, Commander. But I am confident enough in the abilities of those present that I believe they can be relied upon.
That is what I was asking. And that
And don't worry about being out of line. Uh, if anything, it's good to have a dissenting voice now and again.
and one more thing. That Lieutenant Venn is, I do not want to pry into the details of his personal life, but is he okay?
No, no, he's really not.
Karlik sighs briefly. I believe he's still in counseling.
He better be.
Just I do not want to work the poor thing to death. If he needs some time off, there are other consultants we can find um for the scientific concerns we may encounter.
I think you'll find there are, in fact, very few people in the Federation who have anything approaching Lieutenant Venn's expertise on the matter, unfortunately. Or fortunately for his career advancement, depending on how you look at it.
I suppose that's true.
He has had to deal with crises of every form since before he was even commissioned. While while he's been through a lot, I think he has handled it remarkably well, considering that his service in the Shackleton began as a cadet.
Yes, I wish Starfleet would stop sending cadets on such risky assignments. It does not make for a healthy learning environment.
But how else do we get rid of excess cadets?
Doctor?
Hmm?
I think. Uh, well, having some field experience is useful, and to be fair to the Academy at the time, uh, the Shackleton had, for the last several years, proved to be a fairly uneventful deployment. I was in the region for 5 years before we were engaging in active crisis for months on end.
Hmm.
At the time of his deployment, it seemed like a good way to get some field experience in a rather low stake environment. But I agree, you have to expect the unexpected. All right, Commander, walk with me. Let's talk about the precise security arrangements we're going to be instituting at the dockyard going forward.
I have many ideas, of which I assume we will only be able to implement some.
Certainly, the FIS's Freedom of Information Acts make some degrees of security differently orchestrated than we're used to. It's a good system, but one that takes some getting used to.
That is becoming a theme on my time here. A series of perhaps good systems that are deeply unfamiliar to me.
I'll let the scene drop there, I guess.
Sounds good.
Lots of information there.
Yep. Let's see.
He BRB'd, so. Oh yes, I still need your directives and the Admiralty focus.
Yep, I'm writing this up now.
Ven, you should have a direct message from me.
Oh, I see them now. Hang on. Oh.
Yep. That's
Anything
that's
that I
all
can
you
be
found out
updated on
in.
immediately.
Uh, oh, wow.
How long are these directives going to be active for?
Until mission success or fail.
All right.
You could designate some as standing directives, ones you expect to apply to every mission.
Yeah, I'll probably set up some standing directives, but I won't do those right now.
So with my bonus question, with what I know, would it be safe to assume that member races of the FIS are ones that have been affected in this manner?
Yep.
Oh, that's wow.
What do I need to know?
Yes, you probably should.
All right.
Ben
Do we
will
want to loop back to post meeting? I guess then.
Yeah, Ben will request a private meeting with you at some point.
All right. GM, are we good? Can we jump to that before I finalize directives, just in case it changes them?
Certainly.
It might. I don't know if it will, but so I've learned a lot from the Aquarius facility. A lot of it courtesy of a library of inheritor information and sciences to those that can understand the writings. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm on the right track. Any one of those, like any single data set within the Aquarius library would be an entire individual's life's work, and any of that would change the face of the Federation forever. It'd be like if the works of Daystrom were in there, and he was just one of an entire library. We're talking antimatter plants, intelligent antibodies, permanent personality transfers, anagathics, non-cryogenic suspension, advanced bioengineering, and that's just scratching the surface.
That's quite a lot, Lieutenant.
That's not the part that worries me, though. That's kind of what I expected going into that library. What I learned there was a bit more about the facility as a whole, and one of its primary purposes. See, it's meant to terraform a planet, but also uplift the planet. It's meant
Uplift in what manner?
It's meant to single out a life form, lock onto its genosignature, and then, over the course of millennia, alter them in order to prepare them to become a spacefaring species. Rear Admiral, the races of the FIS were modified in this manner.
I see. And is this a ongoing process?
I can only imagine so. Though
We are looking at a very different eventuality if it is a matter of genome tampering that has ended versus one that is ongoing.
Right. We can only hope that at worst the process slows down once they've reached the necessary spacefaring point, and at best the process stops altogether, but I couldn't tell you that right now. I'd need to do more research.
Make that your priority, then, Lieutenant.
Okay.
I expect scheduled updates and emergency updates as needed.
Yep. You see why I needed to bring this to you as a separate matter. This is something that could impact the culture of the FIS to its very core.
Agreed. Until we know more, let's keep this between us. All right.
All right.
New scene, as we're now post briefing. Hold for the directives and
Yes.
the Admiralty focus, because people might be able to spend into those for their tasks.
Absolutely. Directive 3. I think I need to rewrite now. God.
Oh, man.
I believe that is. Yeah.
Oh, so that did good. That did influence one of the directives.
It did. Yeah.
God. Well, I have a directive I can plink.
Those are your directives, or are you adding more?
I'm working on standing directives, but those are my mission directives.
Okay.
Admiralty focus negotiation. Directive 1, find suppliers and materials and expert shipwrights for NX construction. Directive 2, establish smokescreen and security procedures for NX construction. And Directive 3, investigate degree of inheritor technological and biological dependency and influence on FIS worlds and species.
So everyone has the negotiation focus if you didn't have it already. As various Admiralty staff hand out briefings and updates and supplementary materials and so on. Sometimes in pad form, sometimes in reference to a data file in Memory Alpha. And indeed, even pointed consultation notes for people who you might want to talk to on the topic, that sort of thing. So that's why you have the focus temporarily, due to the support of the Admiralty staff and its resources.
Nice.
And as a reminder, of course, Carpenter, you can shift that focus. There's a cost to it, I believe. You're the only one who can change it now.
One
Once it's set.
momentum. It is one momentum. I believe it lasts for one scene, but with the human trait or talent of Spirit of Discovery, I can generate momentum at almost any time. So, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And the ones you can, it's probably good for you to have these written somewhere on your sheet. Negotiation is one of my Admiralty focuses. The others you can swap it to are strategy and tactics or crisis response.
Sounds
Man,
good.
I love it when you have like a talent like Spirit of Discovery that's just been in the game since the beginning.
Yeah.
It's like still just good.
Mm-hmm.
If
They
only all
did
of them were
hit
that
some
good.
of them completely out of the ballpark.
Yeah. I like the Bajoran talents. No, I will not let that go. Oops, I'm in the wrong book entirely. But, yeah. Who wants to take up a scene first to continue to progress the mission?
I'll look into some stuff.
Certainly. Where are you after, Chris? Yeah.
I want to look into any known shipwrights who might be in desperate need of financial assistance. Like, I don't know, some Klingon who worked on the Negvar but then, like, has a gambling problem or something.
How wide a scope how wide a net are you going to cast? Like, just here on Halanak, across the Beta Quadrant, across known space?
Within 7 days round trip warp for the Gilded Star.
Oh, do you know what its max speed probably is?
I know what its engine score is, which is 9.
That's pretty fast.
I mean, I'm sure that was covered sometime in one of the TV shows. It's probably in the book. I just
What's the ship class?
It's a secret for now.
All right.
You can look
Never
at
mind,
a window
I
and
was-
see it sometimes.
I was gonna
Not
say
all
I'll
the
help you
time.
find a max warp speed, but never mind.
Okay, so that does give me an idea. So I will call that insight. Commander security. Difficulty 3.
Okay.
Oh, and finding myself so I don't forget that. For stardate reasons.
We are low on momentum.
I know whose fault that is.
It's my fault. I didn't rally. Should have rallied at the end of the meeting. Legitimately.
Can I spend determination on always out to make some credits?
Yeah.
And I will give you 2, 3.
Added 2 standing directives.
So you gained 1 momentum on the back of that, yeah?
Yep.
One moment.
Also, anyone who's formerly of House Rasa need not apply.
I have to check a different list. Hold on.
Yeah, and I know about the whole Rasa to Tarkin thing, so, like, there's no hiding by calling yourself a Tarkin.
But they helped build the Death Star.
Yeah, that doesn't mean they helped build a battle station with a laser. That meant they literally built a star that became a threat from midnight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you're not gonna like this. Oh well.
I'd hire Peter Cushing for this.
Yeah.
Have to order some extra large boots, though.
Well, if you want the counterpart for Cushing in any kind of role like that, you got to get Basil Rathbone.
Or actually Wayne Pigram, who played him in one of the new movies, who also played Scorpius on Farscape.
Hmm. Well, I said Basil Rathbone because him and Cushing were like best friends.
Fair.
Yeah, you're gonna lose me. My entire knowledge of Golden Age British actors is were they in Star Wars? Were they in Cromwell? Or were they actually no. Nope. That's the whole list. Oh, Lawrence of Arabia. There's 3. If they're outside of those, I have no idea.
And you were looking for a shipwright, right? Or
Yes.
Yep.
Love to get a Ferengi ship, right? That way, this new ship, every time you go to do basic functions, you find out that it's been pre-installed with adware.
Yeah, before the episode, we were talking about like how annoying subscription services are. Maybe they've invented subscription services, but for starships, where it's like, you know, you have to pay. You already bought the ship, but you have to pay $15.99 a month in order to subscribe to the Warp Core.
I mean,
I smell profit.
At end of the most recent Lower Decks season, all I'm gonna say.
So, there's a few names you kind of ask around, look over, you think about it for a bit. Anywhere in particular you ask around, or anywhere you look this? Do you actually? That is the better way to put it. Do you ask around, or are you looking up stuff in like your ship's files or anything like that? How are you getting this information in particular? It just changes how I tell you how it is.
No, I think this is more like thinking about people I've come across before.
So as you're thinking about this person, you remember a certain Packlid named Grunk.
Oh shit.
You remember he has fingers like a Ferengi and a heart as big as a Klingon, but twice as gullible. He tends to get himself into shady businesses, usually on some nonsense about purity and making things orderly, which is odd considering that his reputation. You had heard that he was getting wrapped up in something to do with stolen goods and illegal deals. And that he's kind of up to his eyebrows in it.
In
Likely
FIS
that he did.
space, or
Huh?
in FI. These legal troubles are in FIS space or somewhere else.
It is in the. It is in FAS space,
All right.
or at least the FAS sector, but that's still well within a warp jump.
I'm picturing like the Pac-led equivalent of Kronk.
Is he okay? But is he actually like a good shipwright?
Shockingly, yes.
Okay. Then I will walk over to the harmonizer's office.
Shoot the harmonizer, but not the deputy.
No witnesses.
That's how you get a
I'll
song written about
kind
you.
of walk up to Kovic's door and ping it.
Kovic is not there. He's at Coors Coffee. But I don't know that you know that.
Yeah, you might go to the office and find and be when you start looking for him, you're told that he's not here. He's probably getting coffee somewhere.
All right, then I will go there. I will uninvited sit at Kovic's table then and order something intoxicating from the menu and say, I've got your ship right, but I need your help.
Okay. It's not really my ship, right?
You're on the committee.
Okay. What is it?
He's it's Grunk. He's what we need, but you could say he's in a bit of a pinch with the harmonizers. Some in theory in harmonizers. Could use some leverage to to get him out of his spot, and then it'll be easier to negotiate with him. We'll get a good rate.
What's he in for?
GM. Oh, you said he's in because it was the opposite of being a perfectionist?
He's involved in some stolen goods and illegal deals.
Oh, nothing too serious. He's just a bad smuggler.
So, what are the in theory going to tell me when I call their harmonizer's office and ask what he's in for?
They're gonna tell you that he's an easy to catch smuggler.
Right. So, but what's he charged with?
I'm sure the in theory have a list of things that are all really nitpicky, right? They never charge you with smuggling. They charge you with import evasion and unlicensed use of cloaking technology. It's going to be a laundry list of those things, but you read it, it'll say smuggling essentially.
Kovic lights up a dope stick and looks at him and says, "You seem to be awfully familiar with what they charge people with for instead of just straight out saying smuggling."
Oh. I also could take a wild guess at what they would charge people with for nuclear holocaust, but I've never done it.
That can be proven in a court of law.
Well, as soon as the justice system finishes with this Grunk, then we can approach him.
See, that could take a while.
Well, wheels of justice grind slowly but exceedingly fine.
but we could help them grind faster.
Look, Kusha, I put my sort of girlfriend on trial for murder. Do you think I'm gonna?
You misunderstand. He can serve out his whole sentence. I just suggest that we apprise the Imperi of how useful he could be to the FIS to change his sentence to something the FIS benefits from.
Right, and I'm saying no. Sounds like he did a crime. Now he can do some time. Now, if he gets a good advocate, who knows what might happen.
I guess we'll have to see. Kusha will get up, and I guess I'm gonna go have to smuggle him out of there. So I guess I'm setting off to wherever he's being held.
Meanwhile,
Please
GM,
don't stage a prison break. It looks really bad for me.
Tried to do
Well,
it the
I
legal
tried
way.
to do it the up and up way and just have him
but
reassigned.
it wasn't the up and up way.
No, it's all. You can do community service.
Have you ever heard
Well-
of Operation Paperclip?
Yeah, the FIS can say, instead of making a profit, you're going to come work for us and use your skills without gain.
Well, I mean, yeah, I've heard of Operation Paperclip, and again, not sure that's the example for the up and up way to do things.
Well, he's
Um,
also not accused of war
Right.
crimes, so
But-
it's not to the same level.
I mean,
of paperclip
you did
anyways.
come to a guy who put his girlfriend on trial for murder, or at least the person he's interested in on trial for murder. And
But I
let
didn't
that
ask.
play out.
I did not ask for him to get off of the charges, just to talk about what other types of reparation he could give.
Well, right, and if you got the right advocate, you might be able to make that happen.
Sounds like you should go and be investing in some lawyers, actually,
Yeah.
potentially.
Um,
I'm sure Starfleet would approve that financial transaction.
So, speaking of Sapentia, has her trial concluded, and what came of that?
She's currently still being. She's in the docket. She hasn't been processed
Okay.
yet.
Did I get the Ulan in touch with the Cybernauts?
Oh, you would have by now, yeah.
Okay. At least that's one thing off my plate.
Bucket list.
So, okay. I am going to try to work out
New scene since we switched over to Kovic.
a security plan for the build. Specifically trying to, figure out how to advertise the things that we can't help but advertise, while maybe using that to obfuscate some of the things we don't want to advertise as being put into the ship.
I would call that something along the lines of control security, assisted
Okay.
by structure security. Communication security. And you would set the difficulty first and try to hit that number, and then I will try to roll for opposing forces to see if somebody managed to slip through the net.
Okay, I'd like to give you a threat to activate the constable power and create the advantage of kind of knowing how, for lack of a better word, spies and informants operate in and around Halanak Station specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would like to use the intelligence officer power to create a second advantage to indicate from the various intelligence reports that I've had access to, how to do things that might make it more difficult for outside FIS forces to penetrate what we're really up to.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's 2 free hits so far.
Okay. I'm going to set the difficulty at 5.
Okay.
Let's see. Let's see. Let me throw some traits at you. Intuitive.
I would not add that, actually. I would actually increase complication on it.
Okay, I'll take that. Hard-boiled detective, because I know how to get. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that will probably work. Let me see if I have a. What are our?
They're in the pins.
Strengthen relationship, assist with the integration of personal infrastructure, increase reliance on inherited technology where possible. Oh, there it is. Wait. Corrective 3. Okay, so we can use either standing directives or the other ones.
Yeah, because those are mission directives that only exist for the mission. Standard directives will exist until the admiral pulls them down.
Okay, then I'd like to spend my determination towards Directive 2, establish smokescreen and security procedures.
Can do.
All right. So I think that's 2 free hits, plus the, does the trait give me another hit? Hardball detective.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so, I'll tell you what, let me use Hardball Detective to counteract Intuitive and just bring the comp back down.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got 2 hits with the determination, so we don't have any momentum. To hit 3. The hell with it, I'll give you 6 for a full minute.
Okay. Didn't you spend a directive, though?
Oh yeah, sorry, then discount the final one. I only roll 4. And I think it goes down to 5 instead of 6.
3, 4, 5 hits on a difficulty 5. Sorry, no. Plus.
It's 5 all told, plus 2 free hits. Oh yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hits total.
So gain 2 momentum.
Unless I can make it a diff 7.
No.
Okay.
Now without inheritor tech involved.
Okay.
Well, the bad guys are going to try to do a full mic because whatever you're doing over there, it's really, really interesting. Or maybe it's not. Maybe it's a nothing burger.
How interesting can it be? I'm having coffee and reading a novel.
Yeah, but every time you're reading coffee and drinking a novel, something's happening.
Maybe they're just, they're very curious to know about your literary tastes. They think you're a good arbiter of quality.
It's really quite a novel experience.
Oh, god damn it.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. I did not get enough.
We came close though, kind of frighteningly so.
You're able to enjoy your coffee, and what's your security score?
5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At least 5 different individuals are caught attempting acts of espionage, whether it be political or corporate.
Wow.
There are other people who probably saw the security, went, nope, not dealing with that nonsense, and just left it alone. A lot of people who didn't see the threats kind of got pulled into your net, and then all of a sudden, a bunch of really unimpressed and harmonizers or Starfleet officers go, "You're coming with us now."
Nice. Before we head on to somebody else, from what I know about the cybernauts, would they be willing to be hired for this, to run like counterinsurgency and cybersecurity for this project?
Not really. No, they're more Robin Hood types. You know,
That's kind of what I figured.
hit the big bad, scare 'em. If someone stole something from you and you said, "Hey, someone's about to do something very scary with the tech we have," they might raid their files, but they won't play security.
Okay.
That's too much of the man, you know.
Right.
On the back of that, who's next?
Hi. The Admiral asked me to look into any potential Starfleet or Federation contacts who will help us with the organization, materials and personnel for the construction. So I'd like to get on that.
Okay, I'll throw the same question to you. How far a net are you casting? Is it just the Shackleton operations fleet that you're part of, the entirety of the Beta Quadrant, or are you reaching all the way back to the Alpha Quadrant?
Well, what's the consequence? Is it a
Higher
difficulty?
difficulties. Yeah, because the further away you're reaching, the more and more you have to start thinking logistically. Who can we actually, from a security standpoint, who can we get?
Okay.
I'd say cast a wide net, and I can assist you on this.
Yeah. I was going to say I need to impress my new boss. So yeah. I'm calling on every favor I have. I'm leaning on. Oh, by the way, Thralic has the trait of flag officer. Do I get that trait, or is it only for people who are literally flag officers?
That's Thralic's special thing. That's why Thralic's a walking crew support.
Okay.
I wish there was a way to put that on my sheet, because it would be so funny if I just had crew support 3. Like, roller.
I just saw you mention trait flag officer for a roller,
Yeah.
and I didn't know if that applied to me or not. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'm calling on every favor, everyone I know, every database I can find to get the best list possible.
Difficulty 5. Assisted by computers. Plus... Oh, sorry. It would help if I told you something else. Reason plus command. Difficulty 5. Assisted by computers plus command the station, because presumably you could use the Halanak station's records for such things. Have a key or something? I think I do. It might be on the other. No. Oh, wait, they would have a rank. What rank were they? Akir?
Kier was a specialist, I believe.
Scroll.
Yeah.
Specialists. Ones. There they are. Restore.
Thank you.
And where do you want them? You want them in your staff, I believe?
Yeah, stick them in Admiralty staff, because I'm thinking at Admiral it makes sense that security's like, here, you have a bodyguard now for when you need them.
Okay. First things first. Can I spend a determination on the value plans within plans on the grounds that, like, I am assembling an organized list of all possible options of acquisition of people and materials?
Certainly could, yeah.
All right. So that's one. Do we have any momentum?
Yep.
No. We have some. Okay, a focus in bureaucracy or organization?
Actually, yes, and actually, did I already peel one off for ending Covaxine?
You said you did. I don't know if you took the action.
I don't think so.
So yeah, you're down to one.
Sounds fine to me. I have a focus. I've burned my determination. Okay. So I believe this is from the player's guide. There is the trait that simulates being a workaholic. There's extra effort. You can push yourselves to extremes to succeed, but at a great cost. When you attempt a task, you may reduce the difficulty by 1 to a minimum of 0. However, once the task is completed, you reduce your maximum stress by 2 for the remainder of the current adventure.
Yikes.
So yeah, why not?
Okay.
You know, right off the bat, dropping the difficulty to 4. And I'll just put 2 permanently in the stress tracker to simulate that. And yeah, 1 momentum, 2 threat, or it would be no, it would have to be
2 and 3 for
1
buying 2
moment.
extra dice.
Yeah. So just make it all threat then.
How many dice are you buying? Sorry. 0 and 0. You might want to try again.
Yeah, that's because that's because I forgot to click the things that would be important to click. I'm sorry, it would be 5 threat for 4 dice. Reason, command. There we go.
Plus station. And any assists that are coming?
Yep, I'll be assisting and station with here's command you said. Station crits. Starfleet protocols for my focus.
Yeah.
Right. And can I assist with presence here?
You can. Yeah.
I also crit. Which also generates a bonus momentum since I succeeded on my assist.
Heyo.
You also gain other effects, but I don't think you need to reroll anything. So.
It might have been a little bit overkill for this roll, but you know.
You know.
That'd be a good value, better to overkill than underkill. Well, okay, maybe not. Maybe it'd be a good value for a Klingon.
Yeah, you're really good Klingon value.
And again, what kind of people are you looking for? Just so I don't give you the wrong kind of people.
Well, we need. I believe we can handle the logistics and organization of it ourselves. So I believe our interest is in. Correct. The admiral will have told me this, so correct me if I'm wrong. But I believe our interest was in the engineers, like specialty people needed to build the starship.
Yeah. So specialist shipwrights that we might need for like expertise on integrating like Federation technology with new species technology, or like quantum experts, or additionally sources for materials that would be difficult to acquire inside the Shackleton.
Yeah, the Utopia Planetian nerds.
Let me get you some names here. And there they are. Oh, there you are. You're not a captain of stars.
Oh yeah, I'll fix that in a second.
Yeah, 1 second. Any longer and you get demoted.
I can't get demoted. If I get demoted any further, I lose my position.
Exactly. So I would
You
hurry
can
if I
still
were
get
you.
demoted.
Okay, fair. I you know.
It's just that demotion comes with additional bad things at that point.
Whoops. Oh, no. No. There we go. Well, if I told you they were.
I'm not been judged. No.
I don't know. What if they're human?
Look. We're all born with our own crosses to bear. Not all of us can have tentacles or antenna or psychic powers. Some of us are just kind of boring and normal.
Wow.
I know. It's a raw deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should look into getting some psychic powers or something.
Imagine.
You know, you're all Corbinian characters. Give it a while.
Yeah, we've got the hookup for you.
You do have one bonus momentum floating. You can ask questions for further details, or establish them as some sort of advantage.
Yeah. Can I establish the advantage? Can I create an advantage right now that, as part of this investigation, I've only found people who would be willing and eager to transfer, thereby giving us an advantage on getting them over here?
Like, they're not unwilling. They're not going to fight the transfer on their side. It won't be them.
No, they want this job.
Right.
Yeah.
I get you. Yeah, I'll take that as an advantage, sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's something Carpenter probably narrowed her search intentionally for.
And so I will, okay, how many momentum does that leave us with? 5?
5, yeah.
Then I will, grab this list, consider it satisfactory, and will approach the Admiral, in her office.
All right.
As Carpenter looks rather, as we kind of probably cross-faded a lot of work and running around, not running around, but moving around, looking stuff up, double-checking things, consulting with people, and then there is a look that this person has put in the extra effort, and it is visible.
Yeah. How many days later is it, out of curiosity?
Shockingly, it's probably like the next day. Like, this person probably achieved a week's worth of work inside of a day.
Enter.
Admiral, you requested the a list of potential candidates for specialist officers to be working on this project. Well, I have 5 potential candidates for a base team. We can expand from here, although through some pretty extensive headhunting I committed in the past, she glances down, 24 hours. I believe that these would represent some of our best possible candidates for the job. Some of them are a little far away, but I can handle the organization of transportation accommodations.
All right, as long as we're able to get them through our security procedures, which I believe you'll be coordinating with Harmonizer Kovic on. Let's see the list.
Yeah, well, she will pull out the names and start reading them off. GM, can I actually spend 1 momentum first to know what their specialties are?
Certainly. I'm clicking
I didn't want to give you too much work, but...
No. I like world building.
Okay.
Specialties in scamming adjutants.
All of them? All of
them? All of them have a focus in deception.
You can make this maybe 2 momentum spends, but in addition to their specialty, I would like to know if there spending a point for if there are any like immediate red flags or cause for concern amongst their careers.
Ooh, I'll get that to you after I get this to you.
Go ahead.
That you want to know if there's anything wrong with it. You're judgmental like that.
I am not judgmental. I am cautious. I get slandered no matter what I do.
Don't worry, I slander everybody.
Mental,
so-
cautious. They're cut from the same cloth.
Oh my god.
It's just a matter of perspective.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Look, I'm just happy it's not me this time.
Oh, I'll get to you. I'll get to you, mister.
Wow. Very
That's so
threatening.
ominous. Okay, first up, we have Lieutenant Commander Narek Thalas. He would be as a senior officer, I believe from my analysis that he would be willing to transfer quite easily, and as a more senior officer, he would be an ideal candidate for leading the operation or leading a large part of it. He has overseen multiple Xeno engineering projects related to starship design and construction, having worked closely with shipyard engineers to incorporate alien technologies into new vessels. That is, of course, what we are engaged in right now, and as such, I believe he is a prime candidate to headhunt to be in the senior leadership for this.
Catch.
One second. What is the catch? Oh,
Yeah, like Charles just saying basically, oh, that seems too good to be true.
yeah. I
Like-
Now I would like to know what the catch is too. I already spent for it, but I would like to know.
I mean, you spent for there like not being as much of a catch. This is mostly just RP, but I suspect there's some catch. Maybe it's just really far away. I don't know. But
Bad.
anyways, continue.
No, I'm waiting to learn what the catch is because I
fire-
did ask if there are
Okay.
any red flags.
I fired them at you.
Oh, but so there are none for Narek Thalas?
Fantastic.
Then she'll say, no, sir, there are no immediate red flags in his career. He is agreeable and otherwise a competent officer. I do not believe to have any problems engaging with him.
Like, there's yellow flags and beige flags and stuff. Like, there's little things. Every officer worth their salt past ensign gets something written up about them. But,
Yeah.
you know,
Mhm.
it's nothing.
I
It's
mean,
nothing
if you
you'd
don't
want to.
have those, it's concerning.
Yeah.
That means someone's
Yeah,
doctored your file.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, then it makes you look like a spy. Yeah, who's had their file edited
Yeah.
to look clean.
Exactly. All right, continue.
Next up, we have Jaya Patel. She is a human from Starfleet Medical Research on Earth. Patel conducts xenobiological research into alien life forms and their medical applications, collaborating with medical teams to develop treatments and therapies for various species. Okay, GM, this person is not an engineer. Why did I put them on this list?
Because you would need a medical consult to make sure life support systems work properly.
Oh, okay. She would be ideal for working with our life support systems, as she is skilled at navigating multiple alien distinct technologies in medical systems, and as such the ship would need multiple complex life support systems, one of the most complex on a Federation ship to date, and therefore
Right,
we would need an expert on ensuring it all works together, or else, well, why even do the project to begin with? She is, I believe, the best possible officer for the job. However, that does come with some pretty major asterisks, sir. There, there may have been instances where Patel's methods or decisions raised ethical questions, such as the use of experimental treatments on alien subjects without proper authorization or oversight.
Oh, I can talk to her.
Uh-huh.
Oh, and I got shit for the packlet.
What
What the hell?
Look, this is all allegations. It's not,
Well,
you know.
believe me, if she had brought this to me, she would be getting shit for it.
Oh, yeah. All right. We'd have to look into her a little more closely, I believe.
Yes. Patel's interactions with colleagues and superiors may have been occasionally contentious or confrontational, leading to concerns about teamwork and collaboration within the medical research community. 3. Patel's willingness to take risks in the pursuit of scientific discovery may have led to instances of recklessness or disregard for established protocols, potentially endangering herself and others.
I like how this could be a go-getter, or it could be someone who's committed war crimes.
I believe we call these people girl bosses. Patel's single-minded dedication to her research and career advancement may have raised concerns about work-life balance, with reports of excessive hours and neglect of personal well-being. Listen, the allegations are very bad, sir. I believe, however, that she has the dedication, the commitment, and the knowledge to be part of this. And she's one of the only people in the Federation who does have that knowledge. And I believe if we thoroughly vet her backstory and we keep her tied on a tight leash, I wouldn't be concerned about it too much. If that is too bad for you, that's fine. I will have to conduct more research into a replacement, which may delay the project. However, I think we can handle her.
I'll reach out to some former commanding officers and see if they'd care to add any comments off of the official file.
Yeah, God forbid women do anything. Next up is Ensign Takal.
Well, then you do something, so...
They are currently serving aboard the USS Kismet. They are Vulcan. They are part of the ship's engineering team, specializing in xeno-quantum systems and assisting with the exploration of unknown regions of space. So the Kismet does have a quantum slipstream drive at this point?
No, but knowing them, the Kismet crew would get themselves involved the minute the tech became available.
Yeah.
The ship of shipwrights is a kind of
So
a
they
byword of the Kismet.
Okay. Well, the Kismet has engaged in several experiments relating to quantum slipstream technology, and Takal has made a name for themselves in these experiments. I believe they would be a natural fit for adapting the technological aspects of standard Federation design with FIS quantum slipstream technology.
I'll add on there, just sorry
Yeah.
to jump in, but I'll add on there, part of the reason why they're eager to leave is that as much as the Kismet runs into cool quantum technology and hyper tech like you guys do, unfortunately they did not run into an Aquarius type thing or anything like that. So this person has theoretical knowledge, is reading stuff about quantum power and quantum slipstream drives, but doesn't have physical manifestations of it at hand. So they're kind of doing a lot of paper research and holographic research rather than hands-on research. Hence why they they would love to transfer to you, because you actually have the technology.
They have what is a classic good sign. They have a great desire to work on quantum slipstream drives. They have mentioned it previously in crew reports, and they have shown an immense personal interest in it, which are all signs of a very dedicated and hardworking employee. Exactly what we like to see, and well, they are a Vulcan officer from the USS Kismet. Their record is, positive. There are no red flags that I could find.
Yeah, who's captain of the Kismet right now? I feel like we addressed this at the end of the Kismet game, but
I think it fell to the hands of weird way to put that. of the
Sit.
was the
What's her name?
yeah, the name's escaping me.
Yeah.
She was the commander of the station, and now she's captain of the Kismet.
Yeah.
The counselor I used to play on the
Yeah. I just don't know why I'm blanking.
Yeah, it
on
was.
this.
No, I can't.
I can't remember any names from. Why can't I remember names from like 4 years ago? Wow, I wonder.
Well, that's Tyr. She's not the one. I know exactly where Tyr is.
The one that tried to shank members of the command staff.
Yeah. That's a normal thing to do.
The Andorian.
Affendorian. Remember that?
Yeah.
She was born on Earth. She was born on Luna.
It was W something.
I don't have her in my archives.
Well,
But that would be who it is. I just can't get her.
yeah.
Her name's buried somewhere.
So I think Cecile was the executive officer at that point.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, we don't need the precise name, I guess. All right. I know the command staff of the Kismet. I can handle reaching out to them and seeing if we can poach one of their up and comings.
Yes. All right, and our last candidate here is Lieutenant Alara Sato, a Trill from Deep Space Nine. Alara oversees xenomaterials research and development at the station's science facilities, collaborating with Starfleet and civilian scientists to study and analyze exotic materials from the Gamma Quadrant and beyond. This is another officer with a couple red flags, but I do think they possess many of the skills necessary for, I'm going to assume, GM are the science and sensors technology and computer technology of the ship.
It's more about the using special various materials for the quantum machine drive. It's the metallurgy and such like that.
Okay, but they possess the great skills necessary for the, complex metallurgy, well beyond my understanding, needed to synthesize Federation and FIS shipwright techniques. That being said, she has some past association with underground or fringe elements within Trill society that may raise questions about her reliability and trustworthiness, particularly in sensitive clearance matters.
She just wanted to make the trains run on time. That's all.
Wow, I think I know. She'll have many friends here.
Ow.
She might have had some difficulties in opposition to following some standard Starfleet operating procedures. And one could say she might have some conflicted loyalties between her obligations to Starfleet and her connections within Trill society.
You're
Potentially,
just not making my job easy.
I succeeded with flying colors on this task. This is apparently all we've got.
I mean, we're looking for, the cream of the crop, basically.
We're looking for every movie mad scientist to help us on this, and they're all crazy.
But we found one with 0 red flags whatsoever.
Oh, they're going to be the one that betrays us.
Yeah, totally. That's the one we've got to put heavy security on.
Thalos was way too good to be true. I guarantee you he's I don't know, secretly from the mirror universe or something.
In his head right
and,
now, the GM's like, "Damn it!"
and,
Or he's like, no, that's a good idea. Write that down.
and
Or he's
past her
doing the
conf-
classic Corbinian thing of why are they mistrusting the helpful character I introduced?
and finally, past her issues of perhaps some conflicting loyalties, she's not been the most successful at adapting to trail bonding, and she has had some emotional instability and psychological issues, and requires constant support and monitoring to ensure her fitness for duty after bonding.
All right.
And there's one more. I think you skipped over
Again,
Victor.
oh, I did. Victor Petrov. Okay. This is.
Are we about to literally bring on a Cold War era super scientist? Is that what we're down to now?
It says his species is Bajoran,
Mhm.
so I assume he's Bajoran Russian.
He
I
changed.
mean, look,
Augment.
He changed
He's
his
an
name
augment,
when he
it's
left.
He changed his name when he left. Why was his original name Heinrich Schmidt?
Let's just say it had some connections to some collaborators back then. Even if it's like it was not this, it wasn't him who was a collaborator, but he was related to one, and it just added so much extra baggage. Like, you know what? I'm just changing my damn name. I don't want to deal with this anymore. I'm moving to Luna. I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a second cousin or something. Lieutenant Victor Petrov, stationed at Starfleet Engineering Command on Luna. He's a Bajoran. What is his specialty? He works in advanced power systems in the Advanced Power Systems Division, researching and developing xenoelectrical technologies for use in Starfleet vessels and installations. He's one of the most skilled people we have in engineering for advanced power systems, and as such, he would be a natural fit here. The one thing of note is that his family has some ties to some people not currently liked on the planet Bajor for their collaboration tendencies, and as such, he changed his name when he left. I don't expect that to be an issue on the other side of the universe or other side of the galaxy from Bajor, but I do, if we do happen to have a lot of Bajorans on the station for some reason, I would maybe not have him show his face.
Right.
Well, I did my best, sir. These are, unfortunately, the requirements for technical skill are so high that some of these people are less than ideal. But you work with the military you have, not the military you wish you had. I can conduct further searches if you would like, but I believe this represents the best we'll ever get as of this moment.
Let's drill down on these candidates for now.
Okay.
Get some background interviews started. High encryption on those, obviously. We'll want to reach into past contacts, conduct the security screenings necessary before bringing these individuals up at the next Admiralty staff meeting.
Sounds like an excellent idea, sir.
Can I get those names? You just give me the names list.
I will just copy and paste what he wrote to you and post it in general.
That's good too.
Oh, Shrala, right, yeah. Esther's in counseling. Who got pulled in to be a station commander, a ship captain. He's had an interesting
I
career.
remember Commander Wright.
Oh god, the jokes you would make if we had a Commander Wright on board. Oh my god.
Look, if you think that we're gonna make jokes about Commander Wright, you're wrong.
You're dead wrong.
I want to see you on the hockey rink. Let's go play a friendly game of Endorian ice hockey. Don't worry, I'll teach you how to play. Come here.
Yeah, no, fucking. If we had a commander right on board, every episode would be the who's on first skit.
Yes. That's correct.
Well, if there's anything else, or shall I can move to the interview phase?
All right, Commander, you take a look at Thalas, Petrov, and Sato. Get interviews with their former commanding officers as well as other necessary background material. I'll reach out to Captain Wright about Ensign Takal and make contact with Lieutenant Patel's former commanding officers to look into the nature of the notes on her files.
Yes, sir. Right away, sir.
Dismissed.
All right, who's next? New scene before I forget. Ryloth, Thralic, or Ven?
I mean, we're just kind of on me, so I'm going to throw to someone else.
Yeah, go for it.
Ven, you're up.
Okay. Presumably my project currently is to do more research on the on the inheritor tech.
That is the mission directive, yeah.
Directive 3, in fact.
Yes, indeed. So, I guess the thing to determine is just how the thing that we really need to determine now is whether or not the influence is ongoing, and if so, how whether the rate of the influence has remained constant or has decreased now that the FIS races have reached a spacefaring level. Testing
Kind of,
testing a theory into practice.
Yep.
tied into that, it might also be a bit of a look into whether the changes are completely stable. If the inheritor tech were to, not be around anymore. Are they dependent, basically?
I'd imagine not, just because of the fact that the technology is meant to make them spacefaring.
I presume so, but I think it's still something that's worth, looking into.
And focus in inheritor technology.
Mm-hmm.
That's 2. Which is what I needed.
So the genetic influence is that part of the project, that part of Aquarius has already come and gone. That would have happened in the primordial stages, not primordial, but in the early stages of encounter, and then maybe tweaked for a few millennia every so often until a certain natural benevolent cascade occurred, at which point they just let the system run itself. Evolution will carry it the rest of the way, as it were.
Okay.
Sort of like rolling a boulder down a hill. Eventually enough momentum goes that you don't have to push anymore. You just let it go.
And it becomes an inevitability.
Yeah. Now, it does, however, planetary-wise, due to where Upantar is, to force it to be a Class M planet does require persistent influence upon the planet. Because this red star is, given where Upantar is, would not be enough to make this a life-bearing planet. You can't, this close, you're not in the right habitable zone for this planet. And even then, red stars aren't great for that. Red dwarfs, rather. So the planet is kind of constantly being adjusted. It's been terraformed immensely, but there's a certain consistent adjustment and readjustment that occurs. so the planet needs it for now until something replaces it, or they develop some way to replace it.
How often does that readjustment need to occur? Is it and I have a bonus question because of my
Mhm.
expert.
Yeah, how constant is it? It's once every actually, sorry, I take that back. It is twice a year. Roughly around Harmony Day, in fact.
Oh,
Because it happens twice in the year. Because there's Harmony Day 1 where they encountered the in theory, and then there's Harmony Day 2, which is when they encountered the Savix Cast. And the other thing is, shoot, I lost it. Genetically, they're not being touched anymore. Planet's still being touched. Oh, the last thing that's persistent is their reliance upon quantum power systems. Because quantum power systems, as they use them, basically tap into the power systems of Aquarius. That is part of the Uplift program because it allows a technological leapfrog effect. Instead of having to develop coal and nuclear power and all that, you have this innate energy field you can tap into that gives you incredible power without much risk to you.
Okay. Well, good news is with Federation assistance, that's less of an issue. If that particular part goes away, then there are alternatives that, like, even the Federation knows about alternatives to that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, the amount of power that they're generating, they need, like, they have, you'd have to replace their power generation systems with fusion cores or matter antimatter systems, because all their power is based off of quantum power.
Yeah, but that's doable. That's
yeah.
That's something that at that point that just becomes a question of logistics. But there are certain other elements of this that are not a matter of logistics and will be a matter of developing the technology and the theoretical science to make it work. But I think Thralic will be relatively relieved to hear that the influence is very much a past tense, or at least the in terms of the genetic tampering on the FIS species. Oh, you know what? Hang on. I have something I can do.
One thing I'll point out to you as part of that information.
Damn, you get that threat back.
You
get the threat back. I rolled my challenge die.
Oh, I spent 2, but sure.
I do have one other question. How similar is this process to what we know of the precursor race that Picard encountered? That the Enterprise D encountered?
Very similar.
Okay. Well, that's...
I would say it's on the same tier of technology. That level of bioengineering on such a long-term scale.
Well, that's, I mean, not great, but it gives us a place to start from, because I assume that since that discovery, xenobiologists and, like, xenoanthropologists and xenotechnologists have been writing papers on that for years.
Yeah.
So that gives me a baseline.
Precursor theory, basically. The one complication I'll highlight to you is that all that was true. However, due to their allowance to enter Aquarius and study it, there is the quantum power as an influence of technology was sort of a passive thing. They were genetically modified in such a way that they could think beyond themselves and reason faster. But then they got the one free tech they got was quantum understanding of quantum physics and having access to quantum power. But with now that they're in Aquarius and scanning it, looking around, they're now being exposed to technology that's beyond the scope of the current. So whatever influence that's going to have, and how likely they are to release the information sphere as a whole, never mind just the Upantari, but the information sphere as a society, they will be incredibly hesitant to not try to understand the libraries and understand the metallurgy.
Yeah, we poked a hole in Pandora's box. Okay.
You're welcome. I had to spend a lot of resources to win that argument.
Yeah.
So we're gonna just take the darn thing.
Yep.
That would have had its own cost. So.
Yeah.
Any other follow-up questions there, Vin?
I don't think I have any immediately for now. I think this is a good starting point. I think it answers some of the underlying questions that Thralic had and gives me some places to go from here. There are definitely issues that will have to be resolved that are a bit beyond Ven's scope regarding, FIS logistics and culture and such. And I assume that that these discoveries were made by me going down to Aquarius and researching in its library and
Yeah, well, actually, not even the library. There's various monitoring systems. The whole thing is for exactly what is the bridge engineering, medical bay sensors of the Upantari people.
Right.
The Starship Upantar.
Oof.
The Inheritors were not messing about when they... Well, the Inheritor that brought it here wasn't messing about when they did this.
Oh, and I don't know if this is something that's free or just something that I would determine, or if I have to make a roll for this. Is this the only Aquarius, or are there more of these?
I'll take the momentum that was going to burn for end of scene for that.
Good thing I did that.
It's this facility is for Upantar in particular. Aquarius, there are presumably, since you know that inheritors are a people, a society. The technology and the fact that other civilizations have some level of technology, you know that the other two founding members have been influenced. They may have been. That is most likely they've been influenced by an Aquarius-alike facility, but not Aquarius itself. Aquarius was meant for one planet, one species. But the fact that it detects that other changes have occurred, because it senses the Etherian Savascats that are on planet and in orbit, so it knows that they have been influenced by Inheritor tech in some way. And the level of influence for it to be that pervasive has to be a facility. You can't a single person running into tech is like someone like Sapentia. They have cool stuff, but they don't have any great understanding of the stuff they have. They're a gadgeteer, let's say entire people greatly influenced.
Okay. Well, that about wraps it up for me for now.
I love her Thralic.
If you know you're gonna do, go ahead. Otherwise, I know what I'm gonna do.
I've got what I'm doing. Yeah, I will be arranging a meeting first with Captain Wright, and next with whoever the commanding officer for Lieutenant Patel is.
Give me Presence Command difficulty 2.
All right.
Assisted by Communications Command. This is you and your staff getting to the right people at the right time, and if they aren't available right now, trying to coordinate your schedule with their schedule so you're not missing each other eternally.
Yeah. Starfleet protocols or team dynamics? Or negotiation, actually.
Which approach do you want to try to take? Because they all can work. It's going to influence what kind of threat spends I do.
I'd like to try negotiation, actually.
I'll increase your comp range by 1.
Okay.
As there's a certain level of, hey, you know, I'm trying to talk to you about this person, and I'm willing to help you out with something you're going through. Let's talk about this. And there's something on the other end you don't know that may up the price, as it were. Or it might not matter. You might get a real complication and it doesn't even come up.
I believe flag officer is making these conversations possible.
Yeah, you're forcing the difficulty would be much higher if you weren't a flag officer.
Yeah. If I was a captain, it would be like, why are you calling me?
Have you ever heard of the chain of command? Why are you talking to me? And I'm nowhere near you.
Uh-huh.
Unless you're friends, then you're just having a friendly chat. So,
I mean,
half of that's true.
Right,
The other person doesn't.
all right.
Yeah.
But
Right knows you. She'll be a lot
one,
more
I don't know.
patient. The other person, yeah.
Yeah. All right. I will spend a threat on third die.
Okay.
And the station. Command.
Some more.
Yep.
Well, the first
Alright,
person you get is rather easy. This Captain Wright. She's in her in the ready room of the Kismet. You can see there's a variety of things on the wall behind her of what appear to be some athletic trophies or plaques behind her.
Yep. Which, strangely, is actually, I think, mirrored behind Frolic as well. They both have a background in athletics.
Good day, Admiral Frolic. I wasn't expecting to... I heard the good news. Something about... my commander tells me it's something to do with one of our officers. Let me get the file here. You wanted to take Ensign to call.
Yeah, I'm working on a construction project out here in the Shackleton, and the ensign's record came up on a Federation-wide survey of specialists who would be good for the job. I wanted to consult with you before making an official request.
You gained a momentum because she hit higher than she needed to. She thinks about it. There's a glint of recognition in her eyes. Like without the antennae, you're a tiny bit thrown because she's half Andorian, so she doesn't have antennae. But there is that look that looks very human, but also there's a little Andorian in that look of what aren't you freaking telling me?
Yeah, like...
Stand by, Admiral. You see the screen flicker off into a standby mode, and then you notice a a command code clearance as the rest of the conversation becomes encrypted.
Yep.
Eventually the screen comes back. Do you mind if I ask you a question, Admiral?
Go ahead, Captain.
This is about quantum slipstream drive, isn't it?
Alex, I will dart down to the encryption level briefly, and then seeing that it's secure. Yes.
Can't get away from the damn thing. Sorry. We've had a few close calls with the technology. So I'm not exactly thrilled to hear that the Ensign may be getting closer to such things. Nearly killed him last time. Not by any fault of his, just the precursor vault that we were able to look into had a mirrored version of it, which we tried to decode. Unfortunately, it turned out to be a trap. So, he's been eager to get back to work, and in my professional opinion, as his captain, she gives you a look, I would say that he is perhaps a little too eager, and may be trying to prove himself to me. He may be trying to be... This transfer, I mean, I have no grounds to refuse it, but if you do take him, he will grab the first shuttle out of here, frankly. But, if you think ensigns fresh out of the academy are eager, a Vulcan with a mission in life is all the more.
Good to know. In your opinion, as its commanding officer, do you think that's an issue that can be worked through?
I believe so. It's just something you want to keep a firm but not crushing grip upon. I didn't write him up for it because it's not worth reprimand. He didn't fail in his job, but I'm good at reading people, as I imagine you're aware, Admiral.
Very. All right. I think he's probably still good for the job. A little overeagerness, honestly, wouldn't be the worst thing I might have to deal with some of the candidates I'm looking at.
How are you planning to get him to you?
Smile and the antenna twitch a little bit. Oh, well, quantum slipstream, of course.
Oh, right. Never get used to the tech, honestly. I thought warp 9.99 was impressive.
In some ways, I'd prefer it. But we're out here dealing with the stuff every day, and it's just something we have to get used to. I imagine the warp pioneers felt the same.
The problem is, Admiral, some of them died rather terribly. Not everyone was quite as lucky as Cochrane.
I know. That's why we have to be very careful.
Well, who knows, Admiral? Maybe they'll be establishing a nice little statue of you, a whole symposium on the life and times of Admiral Thralic and Captain Haifa.
Ancestors, I hope not.
Anything else I can help you with there, Admiral? I do have at least 3 different people wanting to chime my door at the moment. Much as I do enjoy ignoring them.
I'll let you go if you've got no additional comments on the call.
The one thing I'll say is, I think he is... I think he would be glad to be exposed to a new philosophy. I think if you were to cajole him or convince him to stay the course or come with you, eager as he is, the FAS is something he philosophically seems to abide by. As much as he is a student of Sarek, he does seem to show a liberal interpretation of research into information that is a bit beyond him. I just remembered, you're one of us. I think he wants to join the Midnight Watch.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
He
All
doesn't
right.
know. He hasn't said as much, but I've seen it. So you might be able to recruit him for your branch.
That's definitely a factor. Glad you remembered that one. I admit I didn't remember that could be a thing. Still somewhat new to that chain of command, so to speak, I guess.
Some would say it's not a command, it's a calling. Although, I understand you, Admiral. She nods.
Well, I'll let you get back to your duties there, Captain. Pleasure talking with you.
Good day, Admiral. Add the token, not the sheet, hilariously.
Is yeah, that's perfect.
And as you look into the other individual, who's the other one again? Sorry.
It was
Petrov, wasn't it?
Lieutenant Jaya Patel.
Patel, my mistake.
I wanted to reach out to her commanding officers with the authority of an admiral and say, "Tell me what's up, please." Basically.
It would seem you're informed by Starfleet Medical on Earth, by the Admiral in command of Starfleet Medical, that both Patella and her commanding officer are under investigation. And they are not, unless this is an Article 14, Section 31 issue, they don't think it is wise for them to. They'd rather they didn't communicate with anyone who is not vital to be spoken to.
All right.
You can roll insight on that.
Yeah.
It is
That's
opposed.
hilarious.
Insight, command, or security.
Command.
Okay. Observation focus.
I take it, yeah.
Do I have traits that help or hurt me with this?
You're reading a person, reading between the lines, hearing things that may not be being said out loud. Oh, wow, I'm re-rolling those. My secrets are mine to keep.
All right.
Okay, medical.
Yeah. Let's see. Potential traits of decorated military family, relentless, ESP, or hoplite commander. I could see some of those cutting back against me too.
Decorated military family will get you a free hit.
Okay.
And that's it. Nothing cuts against you.
Yeah, I wasn't sure with Relentless whether that would be like. I think Relentless would cut against me if I was a captain.
Yeah, it's not hurting here. You're. I mean, they're an admiral and you're an admiral, but you're both flag officers, so it's like a difference between a commander and a captain. You're close enough that
Yeah.
you being a bit relentless doesn't help you, but it isn't hurting you either. Otherwise, I was gonna give them a free hit, so or a complication. Yeah. Probably.
Let's see. I've got focus. I've got a trait. How many dice did you roll?
I bought a full mint and then re-rolled it.
Cool. I will. I'll match you. I'll spend the momentum first, and then make up the difference with threat.
So full mint back.
Yep. That's not a good roll. 3 hits for me with a comp. Do I want to re-roll that? I probably should, yeah. Spend towards the value, the price of peace is vigilance.
Yeah.
Trying to, dot my I's, cross my T's on this. I'm just gonna re-roll 2. We'll see how it goes.